Okay, imagine this. You're trapped, like truly trapped in the most desolate place imaginable, Antarctica. And there's this not gnawing feeling. Could the person standing right next to you actually be something else?
Yeah, something pretending. A perfect imitation, but deadly. It's a terrifying thought.
Exactly. And that's where we're going today. We're doing a deep dive into John Carpenter's 1982 classic, The Thing.
And we're working from a really insightful review of the film today. It helps frame why this movie, which, wasn't exactly a smash hit right out of the gate.
No, definitely not.
Why it's become such a huge cult classic. Yeah. A benchmark in horror, really.
So our mission today, it isn't just to walk through the plot. We want to get under the skin of it, figure out what makes the thing tick. The paranoia, those effects, the big questions it asks.
Right. And for anyone maybe not familiar, the basic setup is pretty simple but chilling. American research team, Antarctica, they encounter this alien.
And the scary part, it can perfectly mimic any living creature it absorbs.
Instantly, trust just evaporates. Gone. The isolation they're in. It becomes this perfect breeding ground for, absolute terror.
And the review we're looking at really emphasizes how quickly Carpenter builds that tension. It highlights his minimalist approach.
Yeah, no fluff, no wasted time on exposition dumps or like a forced romantic subplot or anything.
Right, no comic relief sidekick. It's just lean, focused, and it gets more and more claustrophobic.
Pure dread building up. Okay, so let's walk through that structure a bit. The review breaks it down neatly into 3 acts.
Yeah. Act 1 is that eerie setup. Right, the quiet before the storm almost, that growing unease out there in the snow.
And the arrival of the dog, of course, the trigger. Seems innocent, but it's really the start of everything unraveling.
Such a great deceptive opening. Because then Act 2 hits, and as the review points out, that's when the suspicion really digs in. The group starts turning on each other.
It stops being just about fighting something out there. It becomes about the enemy possibly being right next to you. Your friend.
Yeah, the paranoia becomes the real monster, in a way. Yep. And then Act 3, wow, it's just this brutal, desperate fight for survival.
And the review makes this clear, it's not like some big, heroic action finale. It's messy, it's emotional. These are just scared people pushed way beyond their limits.
Totally. Flawed people facing something utterly incomprehensible. And that tight structure, those rising stakes, it all feeds directly into that feeling of paranoia the movie does so well.
It's interesting how that structure sort of mirrors the alien itself,
Yeah.
It starts small, contained, then it just infiltrates everything, spreads like the suspicion.
That's a great point. And speaking of the people caught in this nightmare, Kurt Russell as McCready.
Yeah.
Just iconic.
Oh, absolutely. The review calls him cool, rugged, but also increasingly undone by it all. But he feels real.
Yeah, he's capable, sure, but he's no superhero. He's just a guy, a leader maybe, trying desperately to figure out what the hell's going on.
And Keith David as Childs, he's the perfect foil. That intensity, that skepticism, he provides such a crucial counterweight to McCready.
Their dynamic is so charged. You never quite know where they stand with each other, do you? Adds another layer of tension.
Definitely. And it's not just them. The review praises the whole ensemble, and rightly so. Every character feels distinct, important.
Which makes the anyone could be it premise so much more effective. There are no obvious throwaway characters, Everyone feels like they could be the thing.
Yeah, no red shirts. Even someone like Wilford Brimley's Blair.
Yeah.
His breakdown early on is so unsettling.
So yeah, it's like a preview of the mental collapse waiting for all of them.
Yeah.
Shows the psychological toll of that kind of absolute uncertainty.
So you've got this intense plot, believable characters, but let's be honest, a huge part of why we still talk about the thing is, what we actually see on screen.
You mean Rob Bottin's practical effects? Legendary is the only word, really.
Absolutely. The review calls them a landmark, and it's not wrong. This is pre-CGI dominance, remember? This is physical, tangible stuff.
And it's insane. Twisting limbs, faces melting, that spider head thing, splitting torsos. It's grotesque, yes, but also weirdly surreal.
Bottin wasn't just going for gore, though. It was about the violation of the familiar form. It felt real, tactile. It had weight, unlike a lot of early, floaty CGI. You felt it.
Unforgettable is right. And so unpredictable. It wasn't just one monster. It was this constant shifting nightmare of biological horror.
Yeah.
Body horror nightmares, the review calls them. Apt.
Sickeningly brilliant, really. But it's not just the creature stuff. Dean Cundy's cinematography is vital, too.
Oh, for sure. The way he uses light and shadow. that cold blue palette, it makes everything feel so isolated, so claustrophobic.
Mirrors their mental state, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the actual set design, that research base, it's more than just a location.
It's like a tomb or a prison. Bleak, snowbound, nowhere to run. It perfectly reflects the character's internal state, like the review says.
It all just works together to create this crushing atmosphere, and then there's the sound.
Yes. Ennio Morricone's score. So minimal, but so effective. That pulsing synth.
It's like a heartbeat, isn't it? A cold, dread-filled heartbeat. The review says it mirrors the thing itself, lurking, patient, inevitable, gets right under your skin.
Totally. And when the music isn't there, the sound design is just masterful. The wind howling outside, the station creaking.
The sudden silences, and then those awful, inhuman sounds the creature makes. It builds tension so effectively. One of the best horror soundscapes ever, the review argues.
Hard to disagree. So, technically brilliant, visually stunning, but the thing goes deeper, doesn't it? The themes are what really stick with you.
Definitely. Paranoia is central, obviously. The review nails it. When you literally cannot verify who is who, trust just completely breaks down.
Mistrust becomes its own kind of infection, spreading through the group. It's maybe even more dangerous than the alien at times.
It taps into such a primal fear, doesn't it? Especially magnified by that isolation. And then there's the theme of identity loss.
That's maybe the most chilling part for me. It's not just death, it's erasure. The thing doesn't just kill, it replaces you, steals your identity.
Yeah, utterly obliterates who you were. It's a profoundly disturbing, existential kind of horror.
And you can't ignore the fear of infection, that idea of an unseen threat from within. The review brings up possible parallels to disease anxieties, like AIDS later in the decade.
Well, yeah, the idea of an invisible enemy, where even slight contact could be fatal, it resonates with those kinds of fears, intended or not. It adds this other layer of deep unease.
In that Antarctic setting we keep coming back to, it's not just scenery. The review calls it a psychological landscape.
Exactly. It amplifies every fear, every doubt. The isolation isn't just physical, it's mental. It strips them down.
Which leads to those bigger sort of philosophical questions Carpenter raises, like what is human if something can copy you perfectly, your thoughts, memories, everything.
Right. The review connects it to Lovecraftian horror, the idea of cosmic dread, facing something truly unknowable and alien that shatters our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe.
The enemy within, but on a cosmic scale. It challenges your whole sense of self.
Which is maybe why it had such a rough landing initially. The review points out it was pretty misunderstood back in '82.
Yeah, it came out around the same time as E.T. Talk about tonal whiplash. People called the thing too bleak, too gory.
Understandable, maybe.
Yeah.
Audiences were perhaps looking for something more hopeful, more Spielberg. The thing offered zero comfort.
None at all. And the review mentions the character motivations can be subtle. You might need to watch it more than once to catch everything.
It demands something from the viewer, for sure. It doesn't hold your hand. If you want feel-good, look elsewhere. This is pure dread.
But time has been very kind to it, hasn't it? Now it's seen as this masterpiece of atmosphere and suspense. The bleakness is kind of the point.
Exactly. That lack of easy answers, that pervasive unease, that's what makes it stick. It's why we're still dissecting it. And those scenes...
Oh, yeah. Unforgettable moments. The review singles out a few, obviously. The blood test scene.
Iconic. The tension is just unbearable. That slow build. Then the explosion of horror. Masterful.
And the defibrillator scene. Talk about a jump scare combined with stomach-churning body horror.
It's shocking, but also just deeply, deeply wrong in the best way for a horror film.
And that ending. Just wow. The two survivors, the burning camp, the shared bottle, and that awful lingering doubt. Who is human?
We still debate it. It's perfect. Understated and chilling, leaves you totally unsettled.
And every single transformation is just nuts. The review is right. They're unique, creative, and still shocking today. That ambiguous ending is the final gut punch.
So, wrapping things up, the review really frames it perfectly. The thing is, this incredible blend of sci-fi, pure horror, and a psychological thriller.
At its heart, it's this powerful study of trust breaking down under extreme, unimaginable pressure.
And it still feels relevant, doesn't it? Over 40 years later, the anxiety about the unknown, about who people really are, about how fragile our connections can be, that stuff doesn't go away.
So you mentioned the bleakness and the initial reaction. How do you think those things actually helped it become such a cult film eventually?
Well, I think maybe because it didn't compromise. It stuck to its guns, offered no easy outs. Films that do that often find their audience later. People who appreciate that intensity, that lack of compromise. It feels more authentic, maybe.
That makes sense. It's unflinching. I think its power really lies in tapping into that primal fear, asking that fundamental question, who or what can you actually trust?
Yeah, it lingers. It makes you think long after the credits roll. Puts those little seeds of doubt in your own mind.
Definitely a significant, enduring piece of cinema. A true horror masterpiece.